Hello, how's it going, everyone? My name's Adara. Do you guys remember this movie called Bridge to Terabithia? Oh, I remember. I sure remember. I remember. You remember too, I remember. Anyway, it's not a particularly insanely famous movie, but if you're around my age, there's a good chance you grew up with it. I was instantly curious towards it because I love Josh Hutcherson. At least I loved him. This was like pre-Hunger Games era, you know what I'm saying? I had a massive crush at him when I was like 8 or 9, I think. I saw him the first time on the movies at Third and I thought it was so cute! But anyway, I'm getting a little off track here. So I wanted to talk about this movie because it has the cover of a story that is whimsical and full of childlike innocence. But after thinking about it, I realized that this movie is in fact kind of fucked up. What do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. In a small summary, this movie is about a poor farm boy that lives with his family consisting of him, his 4 sisters, and his parents. In many scenes of the movie, we see a lot of neglect from his parents, especially his dad, who's really hard on him since he's the only boy in the family and the middle child. We also see off the bat that the kid is poor considering the crappy sneakers he was running with in the beginning. And it's basically mentioned a few more times in the movie as well. So that's already a rough little detail, not just about his life, but also the environment in which he lives in. The kid gets bullied a lot in school as well, like for no reason, which is also more common than you might think. It's not shown in particular to be a very physical kind of bullying, but it's definitely implied in many parts of it. So yeah, this kid, he has it hard. Along the way, he meets this girl named Leslie who gives him a loving hand of friendship. She defies gender roles and is a very creative girl. Together, they find a section in the forest they can access by swinging on a rope, and they created a world just of their own, naming it Terabithia. In this world, they create creatures that reflect their real-life bullies as a mechanism to cope with the life they live. So yeah, the movie in the majority of the part is a very slice-of-life film about 2 children and their everyday struggles coped by the magic of imagination and running. Lots and lots of running. So you might be asking yourself at this point, wow, Adara, this seems like such a harmless coming-of-age story. What's so dark about it? And in reply I say, ha, you naive child, for you know nothing. Nothing. Every story usually has some conflict, right? I mean, there are stories that don't, but usually there is at least something to grab the reader or the viewer's attention. So the big thing that happens in this movie, the thing of which this story is known for, is, you guessed it, the thing that I keep coming back to every single time in this channel. Say it with me now. Death. Leslie fucking dies. She drowns in the lake under the rope that took them to Terabithia, as it snaps in half after a long season of rain. Yep, that's right, ladies and gents. All the whimsical stuff about using your imagination and having fun in your childhood was a goddamn sugar-coated lie. Because the real lesson and the real reason why this book was written was to teach children about death. I was around 11 years old when I watched this movie for the first time, so I went through the target experience for which this book and the movie was created for. So a lot of what I will say will be sharing my own experiences and mentions from childhood and reflections in the story as an adult. So how does this story portray death? Let me touch on a couple things. First of all, the author is very blunt about death. She presents it as something that happens suddenly and for no good particular reason at all. It just is. In the movie, Jess's father tells him straight up, "Your friend Leslie is dead." When I first heard this as a kid, I was completely destroyed inside, just like Jess. I had a strong reaction of complete denial. For me, it had no reason why it had to happen, and it wasn't fair that she died. I only realized as I got older and looked back on it that it was exactly the point. Death is something that makes a lot of children grow up. Some kids become even somber from it. I did when my dad passed away. I was always a kid that was a very go-lucky and very happy with life. But when his death hit me, it was out of the blue and for no reason. It's a dark part of the circle of life we all come across eventually. There are even authors that strengthen their philosophy on how dry and unromantic death is by making characters die in very absurd and dumb ways. With Leslie's death, after having strong feelings of denial, Jess starts having feelings of guilt and pain in a matter of trying to find a reason for her death. At first, we see him blaming his teacher, who took him to a personal field trip the day Leslie died. He blamed her for not inviting her to go with them. Later in the movie, he shifted that anger and blame on himself, feeling guilt, saying it was his fault. After some comfort from his father, who was nice for freaking once, he realized that in fact it was nobody's fault and it happened because it needed to happen, causing him eventually to accept death and move on. There's also a criticism here about letting go of childlike wonder to become an adult. Honestly, the author is giving me some really mixed messages with this. She makes Leslie die by something she trusted so much, which was the gateway to her land in Terabithia. I saw this as a symbolic death for someone's childhood innocence, something necessary to grow up and become a part of the world of adulthood, as Jess's father was pestering him to do through the whole film. No matter how you look at it, it's pretty fucking traumatic. But I find it strange that symbolic coincidence of it all, since he later starts to share the world with his little sister. I think if you look at it like that, I have a feeling that Jess might have concluded that nothing really matters, that things happen because of coincidences. That's the closest thing I can conclude. I've been a theorist since I was a kid, so I've always overthought this kind of stuff. And to me, it felt like there was a secret message there, and I think that's messed up. Not to mention, it's a very dark point of view that I don't agree with. I think there is nothing wrong with maintaining an active imagination as an adult. There's another thing that I thought was really messed up in the movie, and it's about religion. When I was a teen, I realized something in this film that I thought was really messed up. Leslie died shortly after going to church with Jess and his family. In the drive back, Leslie mentioned that she didn't believe in God or religion, but found it fascinating and beautiful. Jess's little sister talks to her about religion being scary because if you don't believe in the Bible, and I quote, "God will damn you to hell when you die." Excuse me? Excuse me? I mean, I don't mind a character saying that in a movie, but then have the non-believer fucking die right after? Even if she was such a kind and wonderful kid? Dude, like seriously, what the fuck is this author trying to say? That's fucked up. I can't help but think that she is trying to say that people who don't believe in God and don't believe in the Bible will die, and that's just really messed up. I couldn't help but think that all the time as I was a teenager. In my early teens as well, in my late teens as well, it was a time that I stopped slowly believing in God and started to become not religious. So when I see this movie and I see how a sweet little innocent girl who doesn't believe in God and died that way, it really shook me up. I can't help but think that the author was trying to give some kind of fanatic religious message in the movie and book. Anyways, those are my views on the story of Terabithia. So what do you guys think? Were there hidden meanings about death, nihilism, and religion in this movie? Or am I just overthinking this? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I read every single one and reply to the ones that I can. Also, please check out my other videos on my channel if you'd like. Like, subscribe, and share this video to help my channel grow. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. You can follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description. I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember to stay determined to TFN, guys!